Following last night's incident that happened on Spender Avenue in Cheetham Hill, we believe that that's linked to an ongoing series of incidents that we have put under the umbrella of Operation Hemus. So Operation Hemus was set up at the end of 2019 in response to numerous incidents. To date, including last night, there have been 6 firearms discharges. We believe that that's because of an ongoing dispute between 2 organised crime groups who were local to the area of Cheetham Hill. So the 18-year-old male remains in hospital and he is described as having life-changing injuries as a result of the gunshot wounds sustained last night.
Yo, what's going on, people? It's your boy Poncho, back at you again with another video. So before we get into the video, I just want to say that throughout the whole video, I've been referring to Cheetham Hill as Cheetham Hill, but I'm not going to go back over and record it again. So the area where this has taken place is Cheetham Hill, not Cheetham Hill. Now, after the most recent shooting on the 6th of January this year, police believe that this is the latest shooting in a turf war between 2 crime gangs in the Cheetham Hill area of Manchester. Local residents have told the Manchester Evening News that people don't come out of their house after 6 p.m. because they're too scared. So far, the war has claimed 3 victims, but fortunately, no one has died. The Manchester Evening News is reporting that on the 6th of January 2020, an 18-year-old man has been left with potentially life-changing injuries after he was shot at close range. A black Range Rover parked in Spender Avenue was caught in a crossfire after it was blasted with a shotgun. Police believe those involved in the turf war, which has been taking place since September 2019, are young men in their late teens and 20s, and they believe the level of violence and injury is spiraling. Police are following a few lines of inquiries, but they do believe that the root cause is a drugs turf war. I don't actually know the names of the gangs, but it is believed that one of the gangs is from the Waterloo Road area and the other at the city centre end of Cheetham Hill near the Fort shopping complex. So, leading up to the most recent shooting, let's take a look at the timeline of events that police believe are linked to this drugs turf war. On September 1st, 2019, a section of Spender Avenue at the junction with Huxley Avenue was sealed off following the incident, and where police were called just after 6:30 p.m, where a Toyota was shot at and was left with a shattered back window. On September 21st, 2019, armed police had raced down to Downgate Walk at around 4:20 p.m, where a member of the public reported that 2 shots had been fired. An area was cordoned off as police searched for evidence. On October 14th, 2019, there were reports that 2 groups of men had broke out in a fight with machetes on Elmfield Street. On October 20th, 2019, gunshots were fired through a back windscreen of a car on Oakfield Street. A number of casings were found on the floor. Fortunately, no one was injured and the street was sealed off at around 9 p.m. Forensics were later at the scene combing the area for clues, and they focused their attention on a silver car parked outside a house. On November 15th, 2019, 2 men were seriously injured in a suspected drive-by in broad daylight at around 2:30 p.m. on Cheetham Hill Road. Police were seen combing the area in front of the bus stop near the junction with Humphrey Street. At least 5 bullets were fired from a Mercedes car onto a group of young men. On November 18th, 2019, a gunman walked into a Premier convenience store on Cheetham Hill Road at around 5:20 p.m. and fired 2 shots while a staff member was inside. Witnesses say they saw a young man in his teens with his face covered running away. And on January 6, 2020, an 18-year-old man had been shot on Spender Avenue. He suffered serious injuries. Police were alerted after he was driven to North Manchester General Hospital by men in a Toyota Yaris at around 9 p.m. Initially, 4 men were arrested in connection with the investigation, 3 on suspicion of robbery and 1 in connection with the September shooting in Spender Avenue, and all have been released under investigation. Then, in November, armed police arrested 3 suspects on suspicion of conspiracy to commit murder. Here, drugs were also seized. 2 men, both aged 27, were arrested on suspicion of conspiracy to commit murder, and a 27-year-old woman was also arrested on suspicion of conspiracy to commit murder and perverting the course of justice. All 3 were later released under investigation. So just think about that, right? Over the past 4 months, there's been 6 shootings and a machete brawl in relation to this turf war. Now, for the people that live outside of the UK, they might not understand that this kind of stuff goes on in these other cities like Manchester, like Liverpool, Liverpool, like Birmingham, where people are literally having wars on the streets over drugs, and it's just different gangs going back and forth. And it's crazy to think that in broad daylight in the UK that these drive-by shootings are happening. And this is what I'm saying for 2020. If this gang violence continues and this turf war continues, as it's been previously reported, it's getting out of control. And literally for them to walk into a shop and open fire when there's literally people in the shop, it just shows the carelessness of the people. Now, going to Liverpool for a second, we've seen where gangs go at war with each other, especially when it comes to gun crime. Now, this is what I'm saying about being careless. If you remember, not so long ago, there was a kid by the name of Reece Jones, and he had got shot and died in the crossfire of a shootout between teenage gangs in Liverpool. And I just hope that we don't see that again in Manchester, because literally the people seem extremely careless if they're just going to be walking into shops, opening fire like that, and they're doing drive-by shootings in broad daylight when they could be pregnant women around, children around. I just hope that we don't see a repeat of the Reece Jones situation, to be fair. Because of the reckless nature of the violence, it means the lives of innocent local residents and shopkeepers are being affected by it too. The turf war is having a deep impact on the community, as many of the local shops, hairdressers and off-licenses are closed down completely, leaving premises empty and derelict. And the owners of the shops that remain open say the problems in the area are getting worse. The Manchester Evening News spoke to one of the shopkeepers, Mohammed Gul, owner of Khan Brothers Mini Market on Haywood Street. He said, customers aren't coming into his shop in the evening because they're too scared. He added, I think the past few months it's been worse. In the morning and afternoon, people are coming into the shop. After that, after 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, there's nobody. They're not coming out because they're scared. There are plenty of people in the area, but after those times, they're not coming out. Mr. Gul opened the business in Cheetham Hill 2 years ago. He said he's had many problems since and thinks the culprits are kids. There are too many problems around here, he said. The mirror in my door I put in 2 weeks ago and the kids have broke it. I got a window smashed before. This area's got too many problems, especially nighttime around 7, 8 o'clock. There are too many problems and it's all kids. Greater Manchester Police have launched Operation Hemus to tackle the war, and currently children's services staff are involved in the hopes that the staff will be able to guide teenagers involved in the violence. Police say the reasons for the feud are complex and lines of intelligence differ, but the control of drug supplies is one suspected element. Superintendent Rebecca Boyce of Greater Manchester Police's City of Manchester Division said, this type of behaviour is reckless and there is no denying that it endangers innocent lives. Anyone who's willing to brandish and ultimately use a firearm has absolutely no regard for the safety of others, including bystanders who may be caught in the crossfire. Whilst we have made a number of arrests as part of this ongoing and dedicated operation, I understand that the incident on the 6th of January is likely to cause a concern within the local community. However, I want to make it very clear that our top priority will always be keeping people safe and listening to our communities and what matters to them. An operation such as this one brings its own challenges. However, we've taken a number of measures to tackle this offending, such as working closely with partners such as adult and children's services in Manchester, in order to disrupt this kind of criminal activity and intervene where possible. As part of our commitment, we are also working closely with colleagues from the Programme Challenger team in order to disrupt the activity of these two organised crime groups. This focus means we are continually supporting the people of Cheetham Hill and those individuals who are affected by these crimes. However, the stark reality is that we cannot tackle this form of crime in its entirety by acting on our own. We will continue to work closely with our partners, but know that often intelligence and answers lie within the community, and we need people of Cheetham Hill to come forward if they have any information that can assist our inquiries. And that's all the information out there surrounding the turf war in Cheetham Hill. If there is any updates to the situation, as always, I'll let you guys know. And also, if there is any more shootings or any more acts of violence that take place, as always, I'll let you guys know. Now, so far, fortunately, no one has died because of this turf war, and I'm hoping moving forward that no one is going to die, especially people that are not involved. But because of the carelessness of the gangs, it does look like a potential that somebody could get caught in the crossfire, and I'm hoping that nobody does. But it's just crazy to think that these drive-by shootings are happening and people are walking into shops, opening fire, and machete fights are going on in the streets. But again, that is the UK in 2020. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section below. Give the video a little like. If you want the latest drill, music and street news out of the UK, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your boy Poncho, and I'm out.